Hello, my name is Katie Raven, and hopefully you have already seen the introduction to me and the introduction to mindfulness and mindfulness practice as a tool, explaining the what, the how and the why of mindfulness. So this recording is being put together for the North and West Yorkshire Association for Spina Bifida and Hydrocephalus website. It's being made as a resource for you to follow at your own convenience if this is something that you find helpful. So in this recording you'll find the guided meditation practice of the body scan. So this is the first practice of mindfulness that we're going to do together. And afterwards I will invite a few questions just for you to kind of investigate yourself. So you might like to grab a pen and paper, or however you feel comfortable making notes. You could probably grab something now, press pause if you need to. So that'd be that little bit of investigative questioning at the end, and this is just for you to notice how your practice was. So before we start the practice, I want to dispel a few mindfulness myths. One is that a mindfulness practice is always relaxing. So you might find that doing some of this practice is relaxing, but really all we're doing is practicing those things that we talked about in the first video, which is paying attention, and paying attention in a kindly way to the thoughts and the feelings and the body sensations that are arising in each of these moments. So it's really just a practice. It's not to intend to make you feel more relaxed, which is often a common misconception about the mindfulness practice. So really it's just a space for us to practice keeping our attention in the moment. And from that we can begin to notice what's going on for us. So this is going to be a 5 to 10 minute practice. So I would just begin by making yourselves as comfortable as you can be in whatever setting you are, whether you're lying on a bed or sitting in a chair, if you're in your wheelchair. So just however you feel comfortable, setting yourself up well to be there for the next 5-10 minutes. So really remembering that our intention, our quality for paying attention is coming from that place of kindliness. And so beginning that by setting yourself up in a really kindly way. Okay, so I'm going to ring a bell. I have a little, well, it's a singing bowl. And it doesn't have any particular symbol for me other than the sound that it makes helps me to focus everything kind of in, ready to practice. So for me the singing bowl is a way to really mark the start and the end of a practice. So this is the start of our practice. So I'm going to keep my eyes at a low gaze. You might like to close your eyes, but if that doesn't feel okay for you, then really welcome to just keep them open. I'm taking a nice in-breath, and maybe a slightly longer out-breath, just to allow a bit of time to settle. And we might not feel very settled. but just making that bit of space and time to gather yourself. Perhaps taking a few more breaths in this way. And as we gather and settle, just starting to become aware of what's supporting you. So what's supporting your body right now? And allowing yourself to feel supported. So if any of the things that I say in this practice don't feel right for you, and always remembering to take care of yourself and discard the things that don't feel right. So letting your attention, this kindly attention, go down into your feet, or to the lower part of your body. So bringing this attention in a kindly way and just starting to notice what's here. If there are any sensations in the feet or in this lower part of the body. If you can feel the feet in a pair of socks or in shoes or slippers, or if they're bare. So starting to be a bit curious about the feeling senses that we have. And then using the attention and the awareness, and using it almost like a torch beam, moving it up from the feet, the ankles, the lower parts of the legs, becoming aware of the bones and the muscles, the joints, noticing how they're resting, if there's any particular sensations moving around in that part of the body. And really, we don't have to search too hard. If there's nothing here, you don't have to make anything up. If there's nothing there, that's just what's here, and that's what we're paying attention to. So attention from the feet, the ankles, the lower legs, up into the knees and the knee joints. Just noticing how they're resting for you now. Moving that torch beam around the knees, fronts of the knees, the backs of the knees. Being curious about any feeling kind of textures, if there's any tingling or fuzziness. Maybe there's nothing, and that's fine as well. This is just a place to practice noticing what is here. So from the knees, moving your attention into the upper parts of the legs, maybe into the pelvis, and the hips. And just seeing what is here for you now. Maybe the muscles feel soft and relaxed. Or maybe there's some holding or tightness or discomfort. So we don't need to try and change or control anything that's going on in our body. This is just a practice to notice what's here. And then if you'd like to bring the whole lower part of your body into your awareness, so you're shining that torch beam over the whole lower part of the body, so the hips, the hip joints, the thighs, so the fronts of the legs and the backs of the legs and the knees, all of the muscles and the bones and the joints, through to the ankles, the heels, the bottom of the feet. Really remaining connected to whatever is supporting you. And then breathing in and sending the breath out. That nice long out breath, sending it down the body, down this lower part of the body where the light is shining. And then we can let go of paying attention to this part of the body. So we can allow this lower part of the body to just move away from the forefront of our attention. And so you may already begin to notice that the mind's wandering away, might be flitting between lots of different thoughts, might be thinking about stuff that you've got to do, or you might be reliving a few things, or there might be some just really abstract or dreamy thoughts beginning to arise. So just noticing that that's what's happening, and knowing really you can bring your attention back as many times as you need to this moment and to my voice and this recording and guidance. So from the waist, from the bottom of the spine, shining that light of your awareness, this kindly paying attention to what's here in the lower part of the back, the lower part of the spine, and then tracking that up. So tracking it up from the lower part of the spine through to the middle, including the belly at the front. And then tracking up the torso through to the chest, around the back to the top of the back and the spine, the shoulders, the shoulder blades. So allowing your attention to move into these areas and just being aware of what's here. Perhaps there's movement in the back, maybe there's movement in the spine from you breathing, the in and the out of the breath, just gently moving little bits of the spine or the arms or the chest or the belly. Maybe you notice if you are holding any tension. Maybe there is some tightness in the shoulders or the back. So just seeing how these areas are for you. Noticing what's there. So from the shoulder blades, the tops of the shoulders, and a tension round in the chest and the torso. Just a few moments paying attention to this breath, this kind of gentle flowing breath, or however it's flowing for you now. Just seeing if it's possible to focus on that for some moments. And the mind might be flitting around, but just coming back to this place, this in and this out, such a constant. And shining that light, if you like this analogy, shining that light on the whole area of the torso. So from the pelvis and the bottom of the spine all the way up the back and round to the front of the body. Breathing into these spaces and letting go. So paying attention but also letting go as well. And we can let go of paying attention to this area. And bring our awareness to the tops of the shoulders, both arms together, both shoulders together, and allow our attention to just track down from the tops of the shoulders down into the biceps, all these lifting muscles in the arms, down through to the elbows and the forearms, into your wrists, the palms of your hands, the tops of your hands, and down into your fingertips. Sometimes a really sensitive place. So again, just bringing this kindly attention and a bit of curiosity to what the feeling sense is here. If there's any sensations that you notice in the fingertips or in the wrists or moving up and down the arms. And just making a bit of time to observe them. So from the fingertips, bringing that attention, that awareness back up through the arms. So through the palms of the hands and the tops of the hands and the wrists, the forearms, the biceps, these lifting muscles up to the tops of the shoulders. And then sending your attention down and away with the out breath. So on your next out breath, just almost sending it down both of the arms. And just as we let go of that breath, that out breath, also letting go of paying attention to this part of the body, the arms. And moving it up now into the neck and the head. So attention in the neck. Oh, how is this for you? How is the neck? Noticing what's here, any tightness. Again, how it feels from the inside out. Awareness of your jaw, of the mouth, of the muscles round your mouth and in your face and your cheekbones, around your eyes and your forehead. Perhaps they are soft, or maybe there's some holding around the temples or the forehead. The tension in the scalp, around the back of the head and in the ears. And as we've already done, just bringing that breath in up into this part of the body, and just like we let go of the breath, letting go of paying attention to the neck and the face and the head. And yeah, again, if you've liked this analogy of this torch beam kind of trekking over the body, now using it to cover the whole body with light, with a really warm, gentle light. So your body as a whole in your awareness. And bringing that word kindness again to this. So holding it all with a sense of kindness, whatever's here. And the last few moments of just breathing with that. And then finishing this practice with the bell, the singing bowl. Right to the end. So if the eyes have been closed, you might like to gently open them. You might like to have a bit of a stretch or a wiggle. So that was our first body scan practice together. And it really is just that. It is just a practice of paying attention. And in this practice, as you might have noticed, we are particularly looking at paying attention to their felt sensations, so what's happening in the body. So the few questions that I might invite for you to mull over, you might write these down, or they might just sit with you in the mind in the next few hours or days or weeks. And that was just really for yourself to check in with how that was. What was that like for you as a practice? So how was it? What did you notice? What came out of it for you? What did you notice? Maybe you noticed a particular sensation, like tingling fingers. Perhaps you noticed that the mind was quite busy today. Maybe you felt a bit distracted by a discomfort. Or maybe it felt quite soft and gentle. So there are lots of ways we can kind of inquire a bit about how the practice was. So I'd maybe pose 3 questions for yourself, and very simply, just how was it? What did you notice? And maybe a bit about how you might relate that to this idea of mindfulness practice. Just what it means for you. Okay, so I will leave that as our first week's practice together. You're welcome to go back and go over this video as many times as you like, and particularly over the next week. It might be an idea to begin adding this into each day, if that's something that feels okay for you. Really welcome to be in touch with me. Those of you that are ASBAH members should all have my details, and I'll hopefully see you on the next recording. I'm wishing you well.